Today, you and me, you and I, we're going to solve a murder mystery. I've been wanting to make one of these videos where you try to solve a murder mystery book. It seemed really fun, so that's what I want to try to do. And for this video, I want to try reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's very highly rated, so it seemed like a good candidate to start this. This will be our setup. I have the camera, notes, and the book here. And let me tell you a little bit about what this book is about. So, the case is closed. 5 years ago, schoolgirl Andie Bell was murdered by Sal Singh. The police know he did it. Everyone in town knows he did it. But having grown up in the same small town that was consumed by the cry, Pippa Fitz-Amobi isn't so sure. When she chooses the case as the topic for her final project, she starts to uncover secrets that someone in town desperately wants to stay hidden. And if the real killer is still out there, how far will they go to keep Pip from the truth? So we're going to try to solve a murder that is apparently already solved, but we have some questions about it. So I'm gonna get started. I'll read a few chapters, speed it up for you, and let you know what happened, who are our characters, and we're going to try solving this together. Let's go. Alright, so we have a lot of. Actually, I was gasping all the time. So let me recap everything. So we're in the town of Little Kilton, and Pip is trying to prove that Sal is innocent. For some reason, she believes that he's innocent. She's very certain of that. So the crime involves Andie or Andrea Bell and Sal or Salil Singh, which is Andie's boyfriend. So on April 20th, which was a Friday, at 10 p.m., Sal is supposedly at Max Hastings' house with Naomi Ward, Jake Lawrence, Millie Simpson, and Max Hastings. At 10:30, Andie is last seen alive by her sister, and CCTV footage confirms that her car is seen driving away from her home. Allegedly, 12:15, Sal leaves Max's house. At 12:45, Andie was supposed to pick her parents from a dinner party, but she never appeared. And then at 12:50, that's when Sal arrives home, according to his father. On the morning, Sal is interrogated and his alibi is confirmed by his friends. But on Tuesday morning, Naomi, Max, Jake, and Millie contact the police and confess to lying about Sal leaving. He actually left around 10:30. But in that same Tuesday, Sal's body is found. He died by suffocation on a plastic bag after taking some pills. Andie's phone was found on him, and Andie's blood was found under his fingernails. So that's pretty bad. Not looking good for him. The next day, so Wednesday, Andie's car is found parked on a small residential road, Romer Close. Blood was found in the boot or trunk. Sal's fingerprint was found on the dashboard and steering wheel, as well as the rest of the Bell family's fingerprints. The fact that the rest of the Bell family's fingerprints is also there, I'm gonna keep my eye on them. And his friends are very suspicious. Like on the same day that he's found dead, they're saying that no, actually he left at around 10:30. So what happened there? I'm suspicious. 30% into the book, and I think we have enough information about the characters so that I can give you a rundown of what's suspicious going on. So Andie, she seems to be like this manipulative, pretty popular girl, but who's also kind of terrible. She was actually sleeping with a secret older guy, so obviously that's the number one suspect. She had access to a lot of money, but no one knew where that came from. Now, Sal had been together with Andie for about 4 months. He seemed to really like her. His brother said that he was a really cheerful, kind, really nice person, but he was seen bickering all week with Andie before the murder. The night of the murder, he ignored a call from Andie because he was giving her the silent treatment, and he said, "I'm not talking to you till you've stopped." Stopped what? So then we have Ravi, which is Sal's brother, who Pip is talking to, like they're kind of working together. We have Jason Bell, which is Andie's father, and he's very suspicious because he seems very controlling. He used the past tense when talking about Andie way before they thought she was dead, way before Sal even died. So, and he was having an affair and Andie knew about it. So who else? We have Kara is one of Pip's best friend. Kara's sister, Naomi, was Sal's best friend. And Naomi was in love with Sal. Naomi said that night, Sal was talking about, like, oh, he wasn't having a good time with his girlfriend. They were kind of like having an argument. And he said he was going to leave earlier and because he wasn't feeling it. Now, Max, though, he said that Sal never mentioned Andie at any point. And he just disappeared without saying a word. So there's some inconsistency there. And Max says that Naomi was missing for about an hour. Like maybe she just went upstairs to take a nap or something. Where was Naomi? Like, were they having an affair, Naomi and Sal? And then the last character that I think is important is Elliot Ward, which is Naomi's father. So Andie was hating on him, calling him an asshole, and because he caught her cyberbullying, he called her dad and asked him to police her on her online access, limited, or he would have to report her to the school and she would end up being expelled. That's what he said, but I don't know. I really don't know, because otherwise, who is the secret older guy? Andie said that she could ruin him if she wanted to. Is it because he's a school teacher and would be probably arrested? So the few things that we have to find out is, who is this secret older guy? Is Andie really dead, or did she run off? But then why would Sal be dead unless she killed Sal? Or could maybe Naomi have killed her in like a fit of jealousy or something? It's very, very, very complicated. But let's read more and find out. Oh my god. Okay. We need to talk. So much has happened. I don't even know where to start. And he was stealing drugs. What the? Okay, let's go step by step. So Jason Bell. Remember how Andie was supposed to pick him up from a dinner party? Well, he left the dinner party at some point while he was drunk because an alarm at the office had gone off. Is it true? I don't know. Now, Becca Bell, Andie's sister, she had to take the morning after pill after disappearing at a house party. And it looked like sexual assault because she tried to unalive herself. And Andie was supposed to keep watch over her that night because she was recovering or something. So a few theories are formed. So did Andie find out who assaulted her sister, so she left to confront them? I don't know. Max Hastings, so he was seen being really close to Andie, and someone assumed that was her boyfriend, and Pip went to his house to confront him about it, and she found a picture of Andie topless. He claims he found it at a classroom at school and he just picked it up, but I don't know if you can believe him. And he was buying drugs from Andie. That's why she had a ton of money. So she was a drug dealer, and another guy was giving her the drugs, and then she was selling, and that's how she got a profit. So who was this drug dealer? Oh, and we have Natalie. I think it's Natalie, actually. Natalie Da Silva. She was the one who was cyberbullied by Andie. So Andie circulated a video of her topless. So she was completely pissed. Her life was ruined. She was a little bit violent. I don't think it was her, but Andie told her to drop the main part in a play, or she would say that she had sex with Nat's older brother when she was 15 and he was working at the school. And who is Nat's older brother, you ask? Daniel Da Silva. who's a cop now, and he told Ravi, Sal's brother, to give up looking into the investigation because Sal was 100% guilty, no doubt about that. Okay, let's start with the most guilty looking people here. So I think he is a really prime suspect. I'm gonna put him in red. Elliot Ward, I'm not giving up on you. It still could be suspicious. Max Hastings, also very suspicious, as well as Jason Bell. I think these are the most suspicious from everyone that we know. And this, I think this is really important. He found it at a classroom at school. Was it Elliot Ward's classroom? Because he's a teacher at the school. What do you think? What? I don't know. I think Daniela Silva and Elliot Ward are now my main suspects. This is so hard. Okay, let's keep reading and see if we have any more information. So much has happened. You won't believe this. So I don't even know where to start. They found the drug dealer, and here, Andy's car is found parked in a small residential road called Rummer Close. That's where the drug dealer lives. Now, he says that so he was selling drugs to Andy, and he claims it was strictly business, but he was very defensive when Pip asked if there was anything sexual going on. So he might have had a thing for her or something. Now, I think I might have figured this out. I don't know. Max Hastings was buying drugs from Andy. We know that. He was buying roofies. And remember how Becca Bell was most likely sexually assaulted. She took the morning after pill. She didn't want to talk about it. She was very distraught. So most likely sexual assault. Was she drugged by Max Hastings? And then Andy found out that it was him. So that's why she left in a hurry. Like, right now, Max Hastings, you're going into the red list, my friend. I'm very certain that Max is the one who sexually assaulted Becca Bell. Doesn't that sound solid? But would he have killed her? Well, let's continue and see where this goes. Okay, so we have some new revelations. So remember how Max had a naked picture of Andie Bell hidden somewhere? That picture was taken at a hotel in a nearby city, and the hotel lady said, "Oh yes, I remembered this girl. She was here last week." She has Alzheimer's though, so I don't know. Was it really the Alzheimer's? What if? So it's either three things. It was either Becca, it was either really Andy, or it was Andy like a few years ago. The other revelation was that Howie and Max were arguing. So Max was shouting at Howie, the drug dealer, when he said that he stopped buying drugs after Andy died and he didn't know who was her dealer. Yet another lie. So who is the secret older guy who she had to meet in a hotel? So it doesn't make sense to be Howie because Howie lives alone. It could be Danielle Da Silva. It could be Max Hastings. And I still think it could be Elliot Ward. But let's continue reading. Okay, shit just got real. So Max has a second Facebook account that has all like the random stuff that he's up to. So Pip logged in as Naomi because she has him added, and she was scrolling through all of the pictures. There's one picture with the four of them. So the four friends, Naomi, Jake, Lawrence, Millie, and Max, who took the picture. it was Sal. So you could see on the reflection that Sal was there. And in Naomi's phone, you can see that the time is 12:09. Why did the friends lie? Why did all four of them decide to take away his alibi? Especially Naomi, who like was supposedly in love with him. Did Sal know that they were taking drugs, that they were doing drugs? But how? It doesn't make sense. I don't think they're the ones who killed her. Let's read. Let's read and find out. So, one fateful night, Jake, Max, Naomi, and Millie were all pretty drunk. Max said, "I'm not that drunk. I can totally drive." They hit someone. They thought the person was dead, so they just left. The person didn't die, but they're paraplegic now. And someone knew about that, messaged all of the four of them and said, "You have to delete all photos of Sal, and you're going to call the police and say that he wasn't there with you. Or I'll tell the police about what you did and you'll be arrested," and boom. So, I don't know, I feel really upset. Like, can you imagine? Naomi said that they all thought it was Max who slipped up because Max would get super drunk, crazy drunk, so they thought he might have said something. Could Elliot... I don't know why I'm still thinking about Elliot, but could Elliot know because he's Naomi's father? He was in the same house with her. Damn. Let's continue reading and see where it takes us. But this book is really, really good. Damn. Okay, let's see everything that I remember. So Pip and Ravi, they break into the Bell house trying to look for the burner phone that Andie had to do the drug dealing and stuff. But they don't find it. But they do find a planner, and it has some scribbles, some notes, so they take that. That's where they find out about the hotel where the lady thought she saw her last week or something. Then the killer gets inside Pip's house and writes like 4 pages of "Stop digging, Pippa" on her notebook. So there's that. And then 2 days later, she gets another printed note, this time inside her locker, right after Natalie Da Silva was also there in the school. So that's a bit suspicious, but I don't think it was her. Then she decides it's time to talk to Danielle Da Silva, and she asks if he remembers having a report for a drink being spiked, and he says no, but his jaw stands and he's like getting pissed. And he says that he know the Hastings because his first call was at the Max Hastings house for the crash in the car. So after they crashed the car, they cleaned all the blood, and then they ran into a tree to say like, "Oh, whoopsies, I ran into a tree." It responded to that, so he could know about that accident. And he is also really good friends with Jason Bell, and he was first there at the Bell residence when Andie was missing, so he could have gotten to the burner phone. So there's a lot of reasons why it could be him. And after Pip talks to him, he's seen like talking like hush hush with Stanley Forbes. Yeah, Stanley Forbes, which is the journalist who's currently dating Becca, who's super convinced that Sal is guilty, and who also buys stuff from Howie Bowers. Actually, something's going on there. I do not think it's related to the murder. Then later, Pip is walking her dog, and the dog disappears. And then she gets a note on the phone. "Want to see your dog again? Bring all your laptops or your USB drivers, hard drives, anything that has your research on it, and destroy it." So she does. She goes back home, and they find the dog. And I'm not even going to tell you because you don't need it. You don't need to know. But the dog is no longer. So Pip is super upset. She tells Ravi that she's no longer going to do this research, blah, blah, blah. She's trying to do this also to protect him, but then he figures out why, and they get back into it anyways. And Naomi broke her phone, so she's using a spare one that they found that had some credit, and she used the phone to call Pip. That number is the same number that was found on Andie's planner that she later scratched all over to erase. However, I think that was Elliot Ward's phone. I am absolutely convinced now that it is Elliot Ward. He is the murderer. So when she got the first printed message, she thought it was Naomi, so she went into the Ward's computer and made it so that it would keep all of the printed stuff. And then later, she got another printed message on her locker. Right now, she's gonna go into the Ward's house to see printed message came from there. I think she's gonna find that yes, it came from there. She's gonna think it's Naomi, but it's actually Elliot. Start reading and see where that leads us. Yeah, so she just found out that the SIM card was actually Elliot's. Yep, yep. The printer printed the note, and it was from Elliot Comp. He printed Microsoft Word document 1, and it read, "This is your final warning, Pippa. Walk away." I knew it. I knew it. He doesn't have any alibis. He called in sick for work that day. I totally forgot about that. So now the theory is that he's skipping her because he tutors Monday, Tuesday, 3 times a week. He tutors somewhere for some reason, even though they have a lot of money, he doesn't need to. And Kara says that she keeps finding food missing from the house. So now they're theorizing that maybe he's keeping her. Alright, so it's Wednesday, and Mr. Elliot is going to tutor. He said he was going to Emerson or something. He wasn't, so Pip left her phone in his car, and it was tracking, and they saw that he stopped in a place where he used to have a house. So now I'm not so sure if he's guilty because they're revealing it so early on. I feel like now it has to not be him. Because it's like, oh my god, I couldn't believe it. But now it's, although it is pretty late, so we are at the point where we should find the murderer, but I don't know. Now I'm confused. But if I have to say someone, definitely Elliot. Maybe it's because we're at the end and it's about time to reveal the killer. So let's continue and see if my theory was correct. So Naomi wrote in her diary about the hit and run, and that's how Elliot could have found out. She's going inside, the dumb bitch. She called the police too. He said that Andie's alive. He did have a relationship with her. He took her to the hotel. He's saying that she smashed her head. She went to his house that day at 10:30, and she started destroying like some stuff from his wife, the one that had passed away, and he was so upset. He pushed her. She hit her head hard, so she was on the floor bleeding. So he left to get some first aid kit. He came back, she wasn't there. The front door was open. Then he saw Sal, went to his house together with him with the excuse of helping him, and then he used the sleeping pills. He thought she was dead, but she wasn't. That's why he killed Sal, because he thought that after the head injury, she wandered off somewhere and died in a ditch or something. And then they would soon find it, so he had to incriminate Sal. She wasn't dead. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Elliot is saying that he didn't kill Barney. Who did? Fuck. Was there 2 people trying to stop her? He just confessed to the murder of Sal and kidnapping of Andie. But who killed Barney and why? What? It's not Andie? Has he gone insane and thought that was Andie, but it wasn't actually? What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? I knew something was up. So, yes, there is something missing because the Elliot Ward's house and the Bell house are very close. And he said that Andie went to his house at 10, not 10:30, when CCTV, 10:40 actually, when CCTV caught footage of her car. So, did she go to Elliot's house at 10, got the concussion, left, went back to her house, got into her car, and then left again? But why wouldn't her sister mention that she didn't have a concussion and that she was bleeding? And how did she end up from that to having her blood in the boot of her car? Someone killed her. Holy I I didn't predict that. Whose face? She says the truth is in the face. Whose face? I don't know. I'm gonna read it. So yes, Max was the person who SA'd Becca, which we had already guessed. Why would Becca kill her sister? Pip right now is theorizing that it was her, because she was the one who sold the drugs that got her SA'd. Right now she's at Becca's house. Wow. So when she got home and Becca confronted her, and it was like, I don't care, you should be grateful that someone wanted to have sex with you because you're ugly and fat. What the fuck? Oh no. So she confronted Andie and kind of like pulled her or stopped her, but because Andie already had the concussion, but Becca couldn't see it, Andie started like convulsing and choking and stuff like that, and Becca thought that she had done that to her. Oh, she didn't actually kill the dog. She did let the dog go, but it was dark. He must have fallen into the river and drowned. So she didn't actually drown the dog. Becca just drugged Andie. Becca drugged her, so she started running away from the house. But Ravi still had the tracking her phone, so he was able to find her with her dad. And Becca told her the location of Andie's body, so it's all okay. It's over. This was so good. It really was. And I know there's another book in this series that I have no idea what this is about because the story is finished, and I knew there had to be some twist, but I would never imagine Becca. Like, there really wasn't anything really concrete pointing to her. Like, yes, there was the SA, but I didn't think that would make her kill Becca. Although it wasn't actually her. Like, it was mostly negligence because she didn't do anything. She didn't call ambulance and stuff like that. But damn. Wow. I think I did pretty good myself. So I was able to guess it was Elliot Ward, and I was able to guess that Max was the one who essayed Becca. And I couldn't quite finish that Becca turned to Andie, but that was pretty hard to get, I think. So I'm proud of myself. I think I did good. What do you think? Were you able to figure it out about the Becca part? And there's definitely still things that are up in the open, and Pip recognizes that. So Holly Bowers was arrested, but what's up with Stanley Forbes and Danielle Da Silva? Something is definitely going on in there. Well, anyways, that was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Wow, so good. I would say I highly recommend you read it, but I don't know. I just spoil everything for you, but it really is good. Thank you so much for watching this and going on this journey with me. I hope you had some fun. I know I had a blast, and I'll continue doing it. I'll try to check the next book into the series and see if it would be kind of similar, what's going on, and I might do it later. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.